Good evening to everyone. So, hello, say hello. Welcome to G on the Beach. Welcome to Databeers. We will have three speech in English and the second one in Spanish. So we are so glad to count with very high values opponents. So we will have very great talks to this evening. So let's introduce Kevin Crosbie. He's the Chief Product Officer of Ramen Pack, and he will tell us about the tool that they are building right now about big data analytics. Say?
Do you have my slides?
Yeah.
Thank you. Hey. Yeah, I'm glad to be speaking first because I think you've only had, one beer so far, maybe two. After a few, yeah. Well, that should be me as well now. I held off. Okay, so as Alberto said, I'm Kevin Crosbie, Chief Product Officer at Ravenpack. Ravenpack is a big data analytics company based in Marbella. And apart from sunning ourselves on the beach all the time, we've been providing big data analytics for companies in the finance sphere, banks and hedge funds, for over 10 years now. So most of the major systematic hedge funds in the world would use our data. Whenever you see your money going down, well, that's them doing that. So maybe because of us, I don't know. So my talk today is going to be on democratizing big data analytics. We've been working with these institutions, and they like data. They have a lot of technology, and how do we make this more available to other companies and maybe even to individuals? So really quickly, I'm going to go through this, if I can get it. Hey, Alberto. There we go. Hey, go back. A bit slow. Okay. No pasa. So, no. Sorry about this, technical issue. It's not big data analytics, so. All right. One more back. Yeah? Yeah, it's on. Yeah. Yep. I'll tell jokes instead. All right, so the key to the talk here is that with big data analytics, what do people really want to do? They want to be able to make better decisions. We firmly believe that we can help people make better decisions if we transform a lot of different data into analytics so that we can help them find trends and identify events. As was mentioned in a few of the talks today, if my slides pass, guys, you're killing me here. Hey, do you want to pass it? I'll give you a signal. Pass. Okay. So these days the world is becoming a lot more data-driven. There were some talks today about IoT, for instance. All of this data is being collected across the world and being written down on databases and made available for so many people. The key types of things that businesses and individuals are trying to do with big data analytics is do things like cut costs. Okay, how can I find a better flight? Or how can I find a better thing on the internet to buy? Develop a better competitive edge. So identify opportunities that allow you to succeed. And then finally, to have fact-based decisions and not just use your own gut to make all these calls. So, as I said, we're focused mainly in the finance industry right now, and I'm going to give you a few examples of that in order to tell you how people are using data and what type of data they're using. These days, people in the finance industry are using traditional data like stock prices or company ratios that they pull out at the end of every quarter, or else market research that they have to pay a lot of money for. But all of that data is old. Stock price passed, it's already changed. It's overused. Too many other investors are using that data, and it's not predictive. It happened in the past. We want to know what's going to happen in the future. Go ahead. So, some of the different types of alternative data that these hedge funds and people in the finance sphere are using are things like news and social media analytics. That's where we shine. So what we do is we take all of the text information from news, from social media, and we convert that into actionable data. So we turn things like, Trump has been inaugurated as president, or that he's being investigated for ties to Russia, into data that people can actually use in order to find information that is valuable to them. Other types of data are bank transactions. I bet you didn't know this, but banks sell your data. They will take the credit card transactions, they'll remove all of the personal identifying information. They may aggregate it up if they're nice, and they'll sell that on to other people so that they can find out what kind of products you're buying or when you tend to purchase. Some of the most novel things that are happening these days are satellite imagery. So you have these companies that are looking down at the world from above and making decisions based on what they see down below. So for instance, one of the applications is to try and find out what Chinese oil supply is really like. What they do is they look at the shadows on the oil drums, and they actually use satellites for that. And another thing where your personal information is being stolen by apps that you have on your phone. Apps can track where you are in stores, and they can find out when the top times are for people purchasing, which stores they tend to go to more, and which stores they tend to avoid. All of this information is out there. So some of the challenges that we have in our industry, in the finance industry, and actually using this is, first of all, you need to have a data scientist if you want to be able to use any of this. It's very, very hard. You've got to have mathematicians, you've got to have big data silos, you've got to have the processing power in order to be able to crunch all of these numbers. How do individuals, how do small companies take advantage of it? Sometimes there's so much data, it can be like drinking from the fire hose. So you're trying to find exactly what you want, but you're just overwhelmed. One of the talks earlier on focused on that as well. Poor guy. And of course, data is not easy to use. There's a lot of garbage in there and noise and things that you don't want. So if you want to be able to find exactly what you want, well, you've got to have, again, probably data scientists that are working on data cleansing and finding relevance and filtering out all that data. Another thing that we add is knowledge representation. So you're taking things like news and social media, and you're trying to map that into concepts that people can understand, but more importantly, that computers can take advantage of and present to you in a much more easy-to-consume way. Once you've got all of this, you have to take all of the different data sets that are out there and unify them in order to be able to find the relationships and to be able to drive value. And finally, visualization. I mean, I hate looking at data just as it is. I need to be able to see it on a chart. So if you're going to follow this all the way through, from collecting all of this data, processing it, getting your data scientists to actually work on it, in order to be able to make a good decision, you need to be able to see it. So this is where Ravenpack has actually put together a platform, and we're working on bringing in many, many data sources in order to be able to present that to people and solve this problem of data democratization. Okay, so part of this platform is being able to query and get smaller pieces of data. So if you are somewhat data-driven, you like to use Excel or something like that, you can get smaller pieces of data, looking at things like, okay, I want to find out everything that's happening in the news, for instance, that's about French elections or about Brexit. And I want to be able to see if that's going to affect me in any way. And we also have a set of visualization tools. It's our belief that different data sets have different ways of looking at them. There's no just one BI tool that can give everything for you. You have to tune all of the way in which you present data to your users. So this is a platform we've already generated and built. You can see it at our booth at the entrance and play with it. We've got some lovely assistants with jamón and beer who will be more than happy to show it to you. Thank you very much.